Okay, you ready?
I'm ready when you're ready.
All right, so we're talking about this recall, and everybody I talk to who's either a target of the recall or opposed to the recall points to one person as being the person behind it, and that's you.
So I hear.
So you can tell us now that you're not behind it.
I think that being the, first let me start by answering that question as straightforward as possible by saying I'm absolutely not behind it and I have nothing to do with it. I would say that for 5 years my role as being the minority on the council and the only independent elected person has caused that a lot of the predicaments that they get into, meaning the political organization, get into themselves. You know, the easiest thing to do is to point a finger at fault as if somebody else is behind it. And so I bear a lot of the brunt of that perspective. And I think this is no different. So, you know, being that I'm the boogeyman, they perceive it as easier to just point the finger and say that the reason that somebody would choose to recall them is because of me as opposed to their job performance.
Right. So what's your sense about the wisdom of a recall effort?
I think generally speaking, I think that there's a time and a place at the ballot box. I mean, these people, for better or for worse, were elected a year ago. And the important part about that is that they were elected by a majority of the residents in their ward. And that process means that they deserve the opportunity to serve out their term. Disagreeing on policy initiatives to me is not reason for a recall. Indictments and criminal activity certainly is if somebody chooses not to resign. So that's a unique factor that I think affects an individual on the council. But by and large, to recall everybody from a political and governmental perspective is not something that I think is justified or proper. Now, the democratic process allows for this thing, and people can exercise their right, which they're doing. But, you know, it's not something that I chose or would be involved in. Just one more point is that they asked me, the groups asked if I wanted to get involved, and I've expressed to all of them that I had no interest at all. Some of the people, there is overlap between some of the people who had volunteered previously on my campaign or on the Board of Education who are involved as a volunteer in that capacity as well. And what I've said to the rest of the council is that you know, the way that we operate within what we're trying to build in Jersey City is a political structure that's not based on patronage, that's based on people having free will to do what they feel is the right thing to do. And in this case, I may disagree with it, but I have no ability nor will to say to them, do this or do that because you disagree with me. It's their prerogative, and they choose to go forward. It's not something I necessarily agree with, the process, but that's not my choice.
Some people also say that, well, they argue that this could be disruptive and ultimately counterproductive to the functioning of government.
I mean, look, that's what my council colleagues would say, and that's a load of baloney as well. There's been no track record of many of those people caring one way or the other. Not all of them, but some of them caring one way or the other what the public thinks. So to think all of a sudden that government's going to grind to a halt because they're so concerned about the public opinion of during this recall process that is very difficult to achieve is, again, more spin doctoring. I mean, the council people that say that, it's just not rooted in reality.
So if someone comes up to you and says, here, sign this petition to recall XYZ council person,
I would not sign it. You will not see me sign any of them. And look, I disagree with a lot of what they've done fundamentally, and I think that a lot of the problems in the city are—
You mean the council?
The council,
yeah.
And the mayor. I think both. I think a lot of the problems in the city are due to poor decision-making. But poor decision-making gets corrected at the ballot box every 4 years, not during a recall. That's how I feel. The recall process is for somebody who's done something illegal. If you haven't done anything illegal and you just disagree with some of the people, I could understand how it can be an annoyance. But this is the process.